Hello, friends. Welcome to the Wellbeing Show with your host, Reshmi Ghosh. Today, I'm back with another interesting topic that is on menstrual hygiene. Why is this topic important? Because it is important for your health. It is important to help keep you infection free, reduce odor, and also keep you comfortable during your periods. So, to discuss this in details, I would like to invite my friend Dr. Maureen Tikka. Dr. Maureen is practicing gynecology in India for the last 15 years, and she has joined us today to give you useful tips on menstrual hygiene. Without further ado, let me start with my very first question that is, Maureen, what are the best hygiene practices during periods?
So, the best hygiene practices would be that one should be aware of the menstrual product which you are using, and you should know how to use that and when to change that. So, that timing is very, very important. That is the first thing which you have to keep in mind. Secondly, that when you are handling your period product, your hand should be squeaky clean, because there are certain products that have come in market where you insert it inside your vaginal canal, and there is a chance that you would introduce infection. So your hands should be very clean. You should wash your hands before handling the product and after removal of the product. So the third part is that you have to dispose these products carefully. Please do not throw it uncovered or put it in the trash without cover, because that attracts bacteria and infection and flies. And never flush them in the toilets. Third thing is, during your periods, please wipe. Always, actually, a woman should wipe from front to back to avoid the pathogens which are there on the skin to enter into the vaginal canal. You have to prevent that. So it is always from the front to back wiping. Then your products which you are changing, you should always see that whether your undergarments are stained or whether there is leakage. When there is leakage, please do not delay. And it's not like you have to change the product as per which is given in the product description. It can be tailored according to the flow which you have. So if you feel that you are bleeding too much, please do not wait for the full soakage. That will lead to more of infections. And the other thing is, always for the beginners especially, when you know that your cycles are irregular, it's always better to carry your own period kit with yourself wherever you're traveling.
Right. Very important, very useful tips, Maureen. So, moving forward to the next question, there are so many different products available in the market. Could you give our audience a brief idea of what are the different kinds of products and their pros and cons?
Yes, sure. So for this, I would just like to share my screen where I have shared to few pictures for just give me a minute, please. So
Yeah, we can see the slides.
yeah, so periods should not hold you back. And that is the message I want to give to each and every lady and the menstruators who are out there, because periods should not defer you from moving forward and missing out on your opportunities. So for that, we have a lot of period products which are available in the market right now, because conventionally what we used, you can see on the screen, were the pads. So these are the disposable pads which were used earlier. Now we have also the reusable ones, which are fabric made, and they can be used after washing them. Then you have the period panties, where you can see that it is again the disposable and the reusable ones. Then there are tampons, which are these discrete objects you can see, which can be inserted inside your body through the vaginal canal, and they have an absorbent capacity depending upon your flow. You can see the size variation, and they give a range of absorptive capacity, and they can just come in plain form like this, which is meant to be inserted with your own hands, or sometimes they give applicators to facilitate the easy introduction of this device into your vaginal canal. So we'll talk about it. Then the other two products which are there are in the form of a cup and a disc. So a very popular one these days is the menstrual cup, which is very small, sleek cup in comparison to the disc, which is much wider. These devices you cannot see while you're using it because you insert them into your body, and they have a very good capacity to hold your menstrual blood for long hours, that is up to 8 to 12 hours. And disc has a wider caliber, as you can see. They can be kept up till 12 hours of your menstrual period. So I'll just this is just a summary for our audience to know the quick pros and cons and when to change these devices. So first one is the sanitary pad. The biggest advantage of this is that it is easily available, widely used, and it is easy to use. It is something which is apparent to your eye. You can see when it is being soaked, and you can change it accordingly. But the side effect you can say is that if you they are bulky, they may cause rashes, and they have an environmental impact. That is, they contain microplastics. So when you dispose them off, you are actually adding plastic to the environment. And the soakage capacity can last from anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. And even for heavy bleeders, it may be just 1 to 2 hours. So it depends upon the size and the capacity of the sanitary pad. Then I showed you a pic of the tampon, which is a small discrete device, and it is hidden. Once you insert it, it goes into your body and it stays there into your vaginal canal. And the advantage with this is that it enables you to indulge in sports activity because it goes and kind of plugs your vaginal canal, and then it also absorbs quite a considerable amount of blood which you are losing. So the other problem with this devices that for beginners it may be a little tough to insert because they may not understand their anatomy. And I would here like to point out that our vaginal canal is at an angle of 45-degree inclination towards your tailbone. So what usually people do is that they try to insert it vertically into their vaginal orifice, but it is always better to go in an inclined manner to the tailbone by squatting position, which relaxes your vagina, or by putting up your leg on the toilet seat. And it's always safe to do some breathing before it, because usually the beginners may have that fear, and that tends to make your pelvic muscles go into a little contraction and a spasmodic phase. So you have to relax. Now, this is a term known as TSS, that is toxic shock syndrome, which many people feel that, okay, we have heard that tampons are associated with toxic shock syndrome. Of course, there are circumstances where tampons can lead to toxic shock syndrome, but it is not all that common. And I'll break the myth related to this in a jiffy. But let's first discuss all the apparatus which we have. So for tampons, we have to change every 4 to 8 hours. Another thing I would like to tell about tampons is that it is usually advised that please do not sleep on with a tampon, because your sleep hours may exceed more, and usually you may forget to take it out. So usually if you're not very comfortable with tampons, it's better you avoid it during sleeping hours, because a forgotten tampon can cause more harm. Then the other apparatuses which are there is the menstrual cup, which are reusable, they are eco-friendly and cost-effective in the long term. It's like a one-time investment, and if you get used to using this, these are a wonderful set of product. And it requires practice, that is the con, and initial cost is there, and in the long term, but it proves to be cost effective. And it needs sterilization. It's not like just open the packet and use it. In between cycles, you need to sterilize this device. And it gives a longer range of coverage, that is, you can change it every 8 to 12 hours depending upon the size. Then there are period panties. I'm talking about the reusable ones which have come in the market now. So they are comfortable, reusable, they are soft fabric. Initially they may be like expensive upfront, means you have to initially spend, but over the long run, if you are comfortable washing it, and drying it in the sun is important. And do not keep you have to not let it get damp in between your cycles. You have to dry it thoroughly, especially in the sun, to kill the bacteria. And if you're comfortable with it, it's a good alternative options to the sanitary pad. And when to change it depends on the flow and the capacity of the product, which you can see yourself. Then menstrual discs, as I said, the last picture, it's like a disc. It is a long wear apparatus which is serving the purpose for up to 12 hours. That is the longest. It has a greater capacity. The difference between the cup and the menstrual disc is that the disc is wider and it has to be inserted higher up in the vagina. The menstrual cup is a little lower into your vaginal canal. But the problem with this is that the menstrual disc, though it has the capacity to hold more of the menstrual shed, but it is messy while removing, and it is less accessible, as I mentioned, because it is lying higher in the vagina, and it can be used up to 12 hours. So, in a short, these were the products which I shared with our audience. Now, the thing is that I mentioned about a term which is known as toxic
Yes.
shock syndrome, and many people say that tampons they cause the toxic shock syndrome. But toxic shock syndrome needs more of. There are three, you can say, requirements to develop this kind of problem. That is, first, that the bacteria which causes toxic shock syndrome (TSS) is found in the surface of the skin. So in the skin surface, there has to be you have to introduce it from outside to within. So there comes the role of your
Clean
like
hands.
hygiene. Yeah, that you have clean hands, and the way you are keeping your private areas clean. You have to wash yourself at least twice on the days when you are menstruating, or as per the amount of bleed which you are suffering. It may be frequent, and it's as gynecologists, most of the gynecologists will prefer using plain water. Please do not overdo with those scented soaps are absolutely contraindicated. We do not advocate the use of scented soaps while you are washing your private parts, because that disrupts the natural flora over there. But you can use some lactic acid preparations are there, but the best we say is plain water, and that goes good. So apart from this, first of all, we were talking about the toxic shock syndrome. The first thing is that you need to the bacteria from the surface has to enter in. Secondly, the tampon, if it is there like a forgotten tampon for more than 8 hours or more, then it becomes like an incubator. It has absorbed a lot of blood, and that becomes like an incubator to it becomes like a whole set of you can
For
say,
growth,
yeah, for growth,
bacterial
like
growth.
culture media. It becomes like a culture media. So
Mm.
first requirement is that you have introduced the bacteria inside your vaginal gland. The second one is that there is a culture media that is present for prolonged time, and there is an abrasion in your vaginal epithelium, your vaginal cells. If there is a cut, then the bacteria will go into your bloodstream and then manifest as toxic shock syndrome, where the patient
Okay.
develops fevers and goes into shock. So just dismissing tampons by saying that, okay, this causes TSS is not right. If these three criteria are met, then you are going to land up with that situation. Otherwise, if you're good to go, if you are a vigilant, if a person who remembers,
Mm.
then usually we say that don't keep it inside while you're asleep, because morning you may, when you're changing a pad, it's apparent to you, and
Yeah.
you may change it. But with tampons overnight, it is, if you have the tendency to forget, we say that it's better to avoid on practical grounds. Now, having said that, I think menstrual cups are quite talked about. Another myth I would like to, which I face as a clinician from the users, they always ask that, am I going to lose my virginity when trying to insert something into the
Mm.
vagina? So I would like to just tell our audience that virginity is just a social concept. There is no medical fact to it. Virginity is like losing a virginity doesn't mean that your hymen breaks and you lose your virginity. It's nowhere related to that. Hymen is just a flap of tissue which is covering your opening of vaginal gland, and that can get broken much ahead of even you start using a tampon. It can get broken when you're doing horse riding, bike riding, or any strenuous exercise.
Yes. Mm.
We have to, it's just in the head. It's a social concept, and you can go ahead. In fact, menstrual cups, if you're getting used to it, and if you learn the technique, they are very eco-friendly. They are very cost effective in the long run, and you just have to learn how to remove it, dump the menstrual contents, wash it with the water, and reuse the same thing for the same cycle. For the next cycle, you have to sterilize it.
Okay. What a wonderful, uh, what do you say, bag of information you just provided, and very important, very useful for the audience. Um, what would be your lifestyle tips for the audience to experience a comfortable period, like in terms of clothing or food or something like that?
Okay. So for during periods, we all know that we have those mood swings, we have cramps, and it's a messy affair. So when it comes to clothing, I'll just go by the clothing, that it's always better to wear comfortable clothes. Please don't wear tight clothes, because that will again lead to perspiration, and it will your private area will become like a tight compartment. So that invites trouble and infection. When there is no aeration, no ventilation, wear comfortable cotton based clothes and cotton undergarments. Then coming on to the food, because I said that periods are associated with bloating and sometimes you will have cramps. So the foods which are helpful are healthy foods. First is, you can take for your cramps, you can take bananas. Bananas are a good source of potassium and magnesium is known to relax your body. It helps to relax your muscles as well, and it also helps in having good sleep. So periods are the time where your sleep is disturbed, so you can add magnesium rich food, like for example almonds are a good source of magnesium. And also you can use nuts are there, other nuts, mixed nuts can help you to replenish that. And then fatty fish, which has omega 3 and anti-inflammatory properties. Water and herbal teas also help. Sometimes these ginger tea, which is anti-inflammatory, they are like mood elevators that can be used. And green leafy vegetables, as I talked before in my previous talk, that it is very important that when you're losing blood and iron, so you know it is visible to your eyes. That is the time period where the person sees that how much blood you are losing. So I always tell that this is a very sensitive area. This is a very sensitizing period, that when you see that you are losing so much blood, you will automatically start eating good. And the mothers and your colleagues and your friends should reinforce that you eat beetroot, you eat leafy vegetables to replenish the iron stores in your body. So this is more of your dietary advice. And some people ask that should we not indulge in heavy exercises? Yes, exercises, because your body is going through cramps. If you do heavy exercise, then it may be a problem, but light walking and all you can do, because it has been said that walking and any amount of slight physical activities, they lead to a release of endorphins in the body, and endorphins are like your happy hormones. So it may help you to overcome the problems which are associated, the low mood which is associated with um, periods.
Amazing. Thank you for those lifestyle tips. The last question for this interview: what should you not do during your period?
So, first of all, what should you not do? Let me begin with the food, because just now I talked about food. So, please do not skip your meals, because your
Mm.
body is already in that phase where fatigue is easy fatigability. So, please do not skip meals. Eat healthy, but avoid sugary food, because a lot of sugar load in your body that crashes your mood. And please do not drink those colas and those sugar laden and salt laden food, because processed food leads to more mood swings and inflammation. Then please do not do overdoing of caffeine. Also, it has been seen that dark chocolate does help to elevate your mood, but you should not bombard and you should not inundate yourself with the caffeine products. A cup of coffee is okay, but not that. Some people have this tendency that because I'm going through this tough phase, they try to binge on certain food items. Don't overdo the caffeine, because it may it may cause more of bloating. Then avoid smoking and alcohol. And another most important thing is, please don't overexert yourself, and don't ignore your symptoms. If you and don't hesitate to talk out and ask for help if you are bodily suffering, in the sense that if you have too much cramps. Because too, too much painful periods, like periods which are too painful, can be a telltale sign or a signal for something more deeper within your body system,
Mm.
like endometriosis.
Right.
Heavy bleed can be related to fibroids. So please do not attached to that stigma, or do not feel that no, if I share something about me, I'll be judged or I'll be taken otherwise.
Mm. Mm.
So, don't feel ashamed, don't isolate yourself. And just I would like to tell Reshmi that apart from menstrual hygiene having an impact on the health, Menstrual hygiene is important both by even the impact goes on to the you can say the workplace and the education, because menstrual hygiene, if a woman is taught how to take control of her periods, she is a more confident person. So getting absent from school, the young girls especially, that can be reduced if you teach them and educate them about these. If
Mm,
you
mm,
reduce the stigma associated with menstrual problems, then you are going to bring productive individuals, as I said. It will lead to it will also contribute to the mental health, and also, as I said, economic and environmental implications are also there. When we are using smarter and the better period products, when we educate them and make them used to that, accustomed to that, we may I mean, in fact, it is happening around the globe that they are handling this difficult phase of their month in a very confident manner, and they have esteem they boosted their
mm,
self-esteem.
mm, mm. Absolutely. I agree with you. And I'm sure our audience got a chance to learn so many different things about menstrual hygiene. Why is it important? The different kinds of products available in market, their pros and cons, important lifestyle tips to have a comfortable period, and also how this education can help a more productive uh, female a more productive female contribution to the world, both in terms of schools and in terms of workplace. So this was the main aim of this interview, to educate you, lovely audience. And I hope you like this video. Please share your comments, feedback. We will be coming back with many such interesting interviews. And until then, thank you so much from Reshmi, and thank you from Maureen. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.